I'm going to use this video to address false allegations made against me by the UTTP and malicious users who are part of Pyrocynical's subreddit who have been harassing me. These people have spread unsubstantiated accusations against me and pushed flat-out false claims that I am some sort of with baseless evidence, and today I wish to debunk the allegations and prove these people to be compulsive liars. Now, the first situation to cover came from Pyrocynical's subreddit r/Pyrocynical, where a user named Dupe had been proven to have used an account called OKChannel9175. Now, Dupe essentially made a post under this account name that I dated him when he was and I was 19 years of age, heavily alluding to the fact that I knew his age and yet continued nonetheless, which is simply untrue. These claims started to be spread like wildfire in the subreddit, with it culminating over 3,000 upvotes, with people slandering me as some sort of and even stating that I should be with other people even stating that regardless of if this was false or not, I deserve it. This of course all happened despite the fact that there was no legitimate proof provided whatsoever that I actually knew that Dupe was 12 or 13, and without anyone actually waiting to hear my side of the story whatsoever. Members of the Pyrocynical subreddit went under the idea that I was guilty until proven innocent. The problem was with that stance was the fact that they just spread false allegations against my name, because what Dupe negates to mention in his Reddit callout post he made was the fact that he lied about his age to me and everyone else on numerous occasions for over an entire year. You see, when I had first met Dupe in late 2023, he had always affirmed to me that he was 16 years of age. At this time, I would have been 18, making our age gap 1 year 11 months. Dupe always claimed to have been born on April the 10th, 2007, while I was born on May the 2nd, 2005. I'd like to clarify that the age of consent in the UK is 16, meaning that the age gap was not illegal, and a less than 2-year age gap is certainly not in the slightest. I'd also like to clarify that I asked for his age several times to make sure of it, and we only dated for a few weeks online as of mid-2024, when Dupe claimed to have been 17 and I would have been 19. We did not meet up. No were ever shared or I never sent any instances of content either, and the images that I sent in actuality were quite literally just extremely cringe, embarrassing comments. There quite literally was nothing else I'd sent to him, other than vent posts as well. There was only a plan for us to meet up in the future after I was able to properly confirm what Dupe looked like, because Dupe would always be extremely reluctant to ever reveal his voice on call when we played games together, and was also reluctant to share any selfies. With logs provided, I was always very inquisitive to hear what he sounded like. I would always tell him, dude, I want to try and hear what you sound like. I did not want to meet with anyone unless I could be sure of their age and what they look like, for specifically the fact that I may be catfished. And keep in mind too, Dupe is on record in DMs with me admitting to have created fake doc spins of himself with fake selfies, in which he used to convince me into thinking that he looked like a totally different person to who he really was. Fast forward to March 2025, and I expressed to Dupe that I don't like how secretive and weird he was, with Dupe stating that I will find out eventually to who he is, and that everything is fine. Then in response, I bring up how I'm starting to develop trust issues and that I'm really starting to reconsider if everything he said about himself was actually true. So I ask him who he really was. Dupe stated he wasn't who I thought he was, stating that he was the complete opposite and apologized for being so vague. I replied that I could not trust him with how vague he was, and in a massive sense of irony, he lied, claiming that he would never leak our DMs or backstab me because he respects me, so I could trust him. I then asked Dupe how old he was, to which Dupe claims 17 yet again, but he lied about everything else, closing off his comments by stating that he needs to consult his very close friends first before he explains everything about himself to me. This was then followed by Dupe the next day, sharing a statement on the 26th of March admitting that he lied about his age the entire time, and video proof is shown right now proving that this is real. Now, in this statement he made, he acknowledged the fact that it would screw with me mentally, as well as him apologizing for essentially lying about his age and catfishing me for an extended period of time, while ending his statement off profusely apologizing once again. Now, in regards to his apology, time revealed that that evidently wasn't the case and he wasn't actually sorry, because immediately what followed was Dupe going behind my back to leak these messages not only on his own account, but also to bad actors such as UTTP members, who then started using these DMs out of context to harass me. I find it absolutely disgusting that members of Pyrocynical's subreddit shared these allegations without actually consulting my side first, and instead harassed me and defamed me for extended periods of time to deflect away from Pyrocynical's allegations. Even worse for them was the fact that the Google Drive link of all these DMs in which Dupe shares literally proves himself to be a liar. It's just the fact that none of these people actually bothered reading the messages inside this Google Drive. By examining the messages between me and Dupe, you can clearly see Dupe was consistently lying about being above the age of 16. One example is him referring back to old statements he claimed he made when he was 16, followed by him stating that he was working at Audi's as a job. Another message exchange shown is Dupe referring to college and that he will have to do it when he's 18, with me stating that will be in a year, right? To which Dupe replied yes, inferring that he was 17. I find it even more insane too that Dupe roped his close friends and associates into me in Roblox games and harassing and slandering me as some sort of Dupe is seen stating on Discord that his friend did all the heavy lifting in terms of harassing me and spamming me on Twitter, but he also himself tagged along. Now, this friend that Dupe was referencing was called Aros, and Aros actually messaged me himself on Discord and attested to how Dupe pressured him into this behavior. But when I'm justifiably angry at all of this and what Dupe subjected me to, he plays victim on Pyrocynical's subreddit claiming I'm harassing him. I mean, this is peak hypocrisy here. He was harassing me the entire time, and when I call him out, apparently I'm the one who's harassing? Like, what? Now, one of the main screenshots that have been provided that bad actors use against me is the fact that Dupe made his age present in his Twitter bio as 13, negating to mention the fact that he added his age into his Twitter bio after he admitted to me in DMs that he lied about his age. This is even something James Sir admitted to, who is someone who Dupe is closely associated with. In Twitter messages, which have also been recorded to prove their legitimacy, Dupe is seen admitting that he lied about being 17, to not only me, but to also James Sir. And private Twitter messages even proved the fact that I cut off Dupe after he revealed his actual age to me. I stated how disgusted I was and how sick I felt, and that we should absolutely part ways. Dupe is even seen in private messages apologizing to me once again and stating that he would not leak the messages, because I highlighted how people would probably take a situation like this against me, use it in bad faith, and use it to deflect away from either their own allegations or someone who they're supporting who has allegations. And Dupe very conveniently did just that by allowing the Pyrocynical subreddit to spread these lies against me to deflect away from Niall's own allegations, in which will be covered very soon. And keep in mind too, Dupe doesn't have the best history either. In DMs, he had randomly posted what he claimed to be, vehemently claiming that it was, and that the person he originally got it from, the original poster, even claimed it was himself. I was disgusted of course by this, and clearly extremely uncomfortable, as you can see in the messages, and I proceeded to report his account. Dupe is also someone who is extremely and bigoted, and at the time I didn't understand why they were so edgy and didn't take things seriously at all, and I admit it was a massive red flag looking back on this all. But once I learnt of the fact that they were much younger than they claimed to be, it now makes a lot of sense to why they acted this way. It was because they're extremely immature and they should not have had unregulated access to the internet at such a young age, in which they claim they did themselves. Now, despite the fact that Dupe did all of this for clout and attention and wanted to interject himself in a serious situation like the Pyrocynical one to muddy the waters in his own favor, I do personally apologize and take accountability for what transpired. And despite the fact he ardently claimed to be 17 numerous times, I should have asked to see proof of his provisional driver's license or some form of personal identification, and I'll make sure as to not be as irresponsible as I was in a situation like this again. Now, I do want to bring up that when I made it known that I was going to be doing a response video, Dupe is seen now going on damage control and messaging my mods, stating he wants to apologize to me and remove the Reddit post and move on. And it's like, what? You defamed me to thousands of people. The damage is already done. Why would I ever, one, wish to speak to you again after the insane level of manipulation you just pulled, where you got thousands of people on Pyrocynical's subreddit to defame me and harass me over lies? And two, why would I ever want to speak to you when quite literally in private you were feeding information to horrific people and also admitting to harassing me? Now, another screenshot which people tried to originally use against me because they believed it was in reference to Dupe was actually me speaking to Dupe in private DMs about someone else named Katanana. At the time, I stated how I believed that they were 13, but as I will disclose later, he was actually 14, and the age gap between us was 2 years 1 month, according to Katanana himself. Now, this screenshot was maliciously twisted by members of Pyrocynical's subreddit into claiming that this was some other I dated and was with, and therefore alluded to me being some sort of serial when this was literally not the case at all. If anyone had actually read my initial statement, I mean it's right there, you could clearly see me state that I had no attraction to them whatsoever and that I did not know their date of birth because I was not interested in dating them, and instead I was dating someone else called Burger at the time. Also, by examining the messages, you can clearly see that I also stated that Katanana themselves claimed I never of them, and that YouTubers I consulted with in regard to this situation claimed I did nothing wrong themselves. To further add credibility to my story, I stated in these messages how I got Katanana out of a possible relationship with Burger, who is considerably older than them, basically saving them from being. Now, by examining an archived 2022 Discord messages I've had with Burger, who was 16 turning 17, stated to